And welcome back. Julie Rendelman here at Law&Crime. We're going to switch gears for a few minutes and talk about a case out of Los Angeles. The case involves Blac Chyna. She's also known as Angela White. Many of you who watch know her as Blac Chyna from the show Rob and Chyna. She had a relationship and has a baby with Rob Kardashian from the Kardashians. And we're going to talk a little bit about a case out of Florida in which she has filed a civil suit in which she has accused the Kardashians, amongst others, of an unlawful plot to kill. And when I say kill, I don't mean the normal kill that we talk about here on Law&Crime. We're talking about an unlawful plot to kill season 2 of Rob and Chyna. And we have a special guest here that's going to talk to us about it. We have Blac Chyna's attorney, Lisa Bloom, who had a pretty successful day in court. Lisa, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Julie. Thanks so much for having me.
So can you give us some understanding of what went down in court today before this Los Angeles judge?
So it was a couple of days ago, but ultimately we got what we wanted, which is the requirement that the other side and some third parties like the network and the production company turn over a lot of documents to us. They had asked that we pay like $100,000 for the documents, which was ridiculous. We resisted that. Of course, we don't have to pay anything. The judge ruled they just have to give us those documents for free, just like every other litigant here in California. And we got a trial date, which is in February of 2020 for this case. This is an important case to us. We have represented Blac Chyna for about a year and a half, ever since she was the victim of a very vicious revenge porn rant on social media from her ex, Rob Kardashian. And when we looked into it, we discovered that the Kardashian-Jenner family had plotted to kill her successful show, Rob and Chyna. And, you know, it's just as illegal for them to do it as it is for anybody else. If you know somebody has a contract and they have particular rights under that contract, for example, for a second season of a show, you can't unlawfully interfere with that contract. And if you do, you can be hauled into court and have to pay civil damages for doing that. And that's what the case is all about.
And so my first question is, you know, it sounds like the Kardashians made an effort to try to get this stopped. And one of their basis of their arguments is that at the time this was going on, when Rob and Chyna, the second season was supposed to go on, that Blac Chyna had a restraining order against Rob Kardashian. And so the question becomes, we say there's no Captain Tennille if Captain and Tennille aren't together. Is there really a Rob and Chyna if Rob and Chyna aren't together? And isn't that kind of one of the arguments to be made as to why it was that the second season couldn't go on?
Well, first of all, I'm old enough to remember Captain and Tennille.
Me too. Me too.
And that's a great old song. But in the modern era, on reality TV, conflict is what sells. And in fact, the producers of the show knew that Rob and Chyna had broken up by the end of season 1. And nevertheless, they announced that season 2 was coming soon. And they put it up on the TV screens, and we have the screen grab of that. They then started doing season 2. They thought it would, in fact, be very interesting to see how these two were going to lead separate lives and yet co-parent this little baby. And would that go well, or would it not go well? Conflict is what reality TV is all about. And you know, Julie, I think more importantly, every woman who is the victim of domestic violence should go out and get a restraining order. It's very important for women to do that. And they shouldn't suffer loss of a job because they do that. I've represented other women in other jobs when they say, oh, you know, you have a batterer, he's very dangerous. We don't want you to have you on our property. We don't want you to have you in our workplace. And I sends a terrible message to women. Instead, we should encourage them to go out and get restraining orders, and they should also get to keep their jobs when they do that.
I think that's an incredibly important point, but I do recall that there were some allegations back and forth. So the allegations weren't just from Rob to Chyna. I think it was to Blac Chyna. I think there were also allegations, at least from the Kardashians' point of view, that Blac Chyna had been aggressive physically towards Rob Kardashian as well. So, and again, well, I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is, so Kylie Jenner made that allegation in a case. We've since gotten her claims thrown out, and she is now out of that case. So those claims went nowhere. Rob Kardashian also made that claims in that separate case, and we have taken his deposition, and he had very little evidence in support of these claims. So as you know, anybody can make claims in a complaint. You just write it down, you go file it in court. You don't have to have evidence. But when push comes to shove, you do have have to have evidence in our legal system. And we're very confident there is not evidence to support that claim of any kind of serious physical violence on behalf of Blac Chyna toward anybody else. And in fact, on the show, Rob and Chyna, the people who worked on that show say that she was lovely. She was very pleasant to work with. You know, she showed up on time. She did a great job. Nobody had any problems with her.
You know, one of the beauties of being able to go forward with this, which is kind of unheard of, is that you get to depose the Kardashians. And that includes, I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, I believe it includes the mother, Kris Jenner, it includes Kim Kardashian West, it includes Khloe Kardashian. So you're going to have an opportunity, if I'm not incorrect, of deposing them and questioning them about what they did and potentially some of the emails that went back and forth between them in regards to the desire to not have this season go forward.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Listen, here at my law firm, the Bloom firm, we almost always represent victims against very powerful people. And so we're used to celebrities like the Kardashians trying to run and hide and duck and not show up for their depositions. And ultimately, the courts say, hey, guess what? You're in a lawsuit. The rules apply to you just like anybody else. And in this case, the Kardashians on their show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, actually sat around and talked about how they thought the show Rob and Chyna should be killed. So that's very strong evidence for us that they were a part of it. There's also emails and other evidence behind the scenes. And so they are going to have to come in and answer our questions under oath. If they try to duck and avoid the questions, they're going to be court ordered to answer the questions. That's one of the fun things about being an attorney is I can have people hauled into my office and they actually have to answer my questions. Doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter how famous, doesn't matter how many hundreds of millions of dollars. The legal system is not just for the rich and powerful, it's for everybody.
Do you worry at all that, you know, by bringing this out at all, that maybe it may end up airing some of Blac Chyna? I'm not saying there is, but some dirty laundry on her side as well. Because, you know, when one side's exposed, the other side is also exposed. And that's always a concern for the attorney and for the client.
Sure. One of the things I love about Blac Chyna, and I've known her for the last year and a half very well, is that really her life is an open book. It's all out there about her past and who she is. And she's a lovely person. She's a single mom. She's an absolutely gorgeous model. If you look at her Instagram, I think she's got about 13 or 14 million followers. And I like to look at it because she just looks so stunning in anything that she puts on. And, you know, God bless her. And I tell her, just like I tell other women in all my sexual harassment or assault cases, you don't have to be a perfect person and have lived a perfect life to stand up for your rights and try to get justice. Yeah, the other side's going to try to bring up some ugly, nasty thing from your past. And guess what? We all have that. But in the Me Too era, juries really don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear about something you did 5 years ago. They really don't want to hear it. And so I think if the Kardashian-Jenner family tries to do that in our trial, it's really going to backfire on them. And by the way, they haven't lived perfect lives either. So if they want to open that door, we're going to go charging through it.
I'm going to leave you with that last line. And Lisa Bloom, I want to thank you so much for being here on Law and Crime. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Lisa, thank you.